Hey friends, good morning. Sunday, September 18 here in New York City. Just about 11 a.m. 75 degrees Fahrenheit. We're here on Fifth Avenue. Ambrose is here, good morning. Coming up on the Guggenheim.
Why they all have radios? Well, that's the way they can talk to each other.
My beautiful wife Lisa's here. Sadly not feeling so well today, so everybody let her know you're thinking of her. Already a decent line at the Guggenheim.
Spiral is closed until October 21st. Only 3 levels are open inside.
She's saying the spiral is closed until October 31st, I think. And that only a few levels are open. Interesting.
Was that going around?
It looks like there's some sort of race today. I think they're numbers mention the Bronx, in case anybody knows what that's about. Sue Kay's here from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Always good to see you. Ambrose says most are wearing masks. They're still required in there. Yeah, I know it was lifted at the Met. I will say anecdotally, we know a lot of folks still getting sick, so just be careful out there. I'm gonna hop over to the park side of Fifth Avenue. Since we have the light. Ambrose says Bronx 10-mile race today. Oof, that's a healthy run. So we'll walk by the Met, and maybe Wiki Lisa will do me a favor. I read that the walk with Amal, AMAL, is still happening today. I think it's St. Patrick's. So maybe you could confirm that and what time, and I'll see if I can try to get to St. Patrick's by that time. Ashley's here, good morning. Gimbal is here, good morning. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, Nabul was featured on Urbanist's channel, I guess a couple weeks ago now, when Urbanist was in France. That was really cool. It was good to see you, Nabul.
And they also like running.
Chris MG is here. Yeah, so Nabul says Amal is walking today. So maybe you've seen it, pictures or on video. Amal is kind of like a oversized puppet who represents a refugee. And she's in New York right now, hitting a lot of the top tourist spots. Like, I feel like later today, I think she was going to be at the Museum of Natural History, if I'm remembering correctly. But I think the first stop today is at St. Patrick's Cathedral. And since we're on Fifth Avenue, I thought I'd head in that direction. It's going to take us a minute to get there. John W.'s here. Good to see you. So we are hustling a little bit this morning because I think Amal is at St. Patrick's at 11:30, and it takes a second to get there. Once we get there, I'll be able to breathe. So until then, we will have a slightly abbreviated Fifth Avenue tour, but we'll see lots of sights along the way. St. Patrick's, 11:30, Washington Heights. That's, I think, what I was thinking of, yeah. That would be really cool too. And if you have like a couple sentences, Lisa, about the project, that would be cool. I'll read it out. Here at the Met, Metropolitan Museum of Art. Fountains are back on. A little early because it's Sunday, so the steps aren't super busy today. Elaine is here. Good to see you, Elaine. All right, well, we're going to try to get to St. Pat's 20 minutes. Let's see what we can do. Should be doable. Oh, I have a picture. I guess I didn't put it on my Instagram yet, but if you see these gold pots, I was here when they were putting them up, and I thought this one at the end, which looks incomplete, I was like, oh, they're just not done with that one yet. But I guess they were. I guess that's what it intends to look like. So 2 p.m. Diana Ross Playground in Central Park. That's such a great name for a park, huh? Okay, Lisa has the details. Little Amal is a 10-year-old refugee from war-torn Syria. She is also a 12-foot puppet who has traveled 5,000 miles across Turkey and Europe to the UK in search of her mother. On her journey, she's been welcomed by almost 1 million adults and children. Now she comes to New York in search of her. I mean, I think it's such an amazing project. And all the pictures I've seen, I mean, it's just very moving. So if we can make it, I would like to see it myself. And obviously I am very much in support of the message. It's a lot of funny games being played right now about immigration, and these are real people. And if it takes a 12-foot puppet to remind us of that, so be it. Nabul says Amal means hope in Arabic. And Chris says Amal is such a clever initiative, a great way to spread a message. Yeah, I totally agree. I think we lose sight sometimes of the reality. Yeah, Ambrose, I thought I had missed it. But I guess they've been here for a few days and there's so much to see here. So I'm happy I might have a chance today. Here at 79th Street, the beautiful mansions along 79th Street. We've mentioned it many times before, but if you've never been, go to the Via Albertine, which has the Albertine bookstore. Books in French, because I believe it's part of the French embassy. But it has the most incredible ceilings you've ever seen anywhere, let alone in a bookstore. So if you're not in New York, just Google the Albertine, click on images, and you'll see the ceilings. It's really remarkable. Sue says Amal is making me think about refugees and their sufferings all over the world. Absolutely. We've been riding the Staten Island ferry a lot lately. We did it a couple times recently, you know, just for fun. And then I did it a couple times on September 11. There's still one video I haven't posted from September 11, which is my ferry ride out to Staten Island, where there's a really beautiful and moving September 11 memorial. I think it's called Postcards, but if you look up Staten Island September 11 Memorial, you'll see it. And I took the ferry out there that day, and it was so foggy. The video is going to do terribly because it's just so gray, but that's what the day was. But anyways, the point is, every time we ride it, you spend, you know, it's a 20-minute ride, you spend half of it looking at the Statue of Liberty. And sometimes we need that reminder. Elaine says, fall is my favorite season. Waiting for the leaves to change. Yeah, me too. We're gonna get back to our fairly frequent walks and videos from Central Park until you guys beg me to stop. But watching the park change with the seasons is one of the best things. So we will have lots and lots of that. We will visit the Brooklyn Botanic Garden again. On my list to revisit the Bronx for the New York Botanical Garden. And it's been a long time since I've done a video in Prospect Park. So lots of fall content to come. I'm sure you've seen it because I think every single YouTuber in New York has already posted their video, but we shared our walkthrough of the Feast of San Gennaro in Little Italy. And when I see the all the lights put up, that's like immediately transports me to fall in New York City. Adam G is here, good morning. Yeah, it's looking at my watch, 11:18 at the moment. We are at 74, and we have to go one more mile. So we have 12 minutes to go 1 mile. The good news is, when you're on this side of the street, you don't have as many lights. The bad news is it's going to get very busy in a minute as we get into the 59th Street area. But I think the point is she gets to St. Patrick's at 11:30, so hopefully she'll be there for a little bit. But I'm gonna get my cardio today. It's my pleasure, Elaine. And again, everybody send their best wishes to Lisa. She's not feeling so great today. This is 72nd Street, one of my favorite entrances to Central Park. When you walk in, to your right or north is Conservatory Water, also known as the Model Sailboat Pond. Great place to sit. And if you go straight, it takes you right to Bethesda Terrace and Fountain. So just some of the best sights in the park. And as we continue our very abbreviated tour, on our left is Henry Clay Frick House. Home of the Frick collection, except right now because it's being renovated. So the collection is currently at Frick Madison. All the love for Lisa. We love to see it. Yeah, if you weren't here last week, although it's been kind of trending in this direction for a while, our little dude, not so little, so it's just really tough on Lisa right now to get around. But still happy, still healthy. So we're excited. It's a slight increase in the chances of an early arrival, which I'm still wrapping my head around. Hey Scott, sorry to hear that. It looks okay on my side. I guess that's a technical update. We did get a new cell phone plan, and at the moment the connection looks pretty solid, but if you keep having troubles, let me know. On my side it looks okay. What I've noticed though recently is a lot of buffering on YouTube channels, even ones where I know that the streamer has two phones, which means they're spanning a couple of networks. It should be really rare to buffer when you're on a couple of networks. So I'm beginning to think maybe YouTube is hitting a bandwidth wall or something. Yeah, due around Halloween, but I think earlier and earlier now. It's exciting, but also really crazy. This is the 7th Regiment Memorial, World War I. Absolutely beautiful memorial. Not that Lisa's counting. We're doing a little off-roading to get ahead of everybody. Getting my cardio today. And there's an awful lot of people biking on the sidewalk today, which is not a thing. Coming up on one of our favorite buildings, the Armory. That we learned one of 2 buildings to predate Central Park, still standing. And if you're not familiar with the Armory, we have many videos where we're in Central Park or by the Central Park Zoo. It's right by where the Delacorte clock chimes every half hour. I have a Central Park video coming up at some point this week, where we did get some good footage of the Delacorte clock. We may do that one as a premiere so we can all watch it together. Just another view of the Armory. Whoa, tons of people there. Must be a tour or something. Never seen that many people in front of it. Victory's here, good to see you. Asking about the weather, so it's about 75 right now, but I think it's going up to like 85 today, which is awfully warm. So, like 20 Celsius going up to 25, something thereabouts, a little more than 25. The other day was, kind of fall weather, high of, 70, 71. And then we get a day like today, it goes right back up to 85. Oh well. Ambrose says it might be for the best that the little dude is not a Halloween baby. This may be true. I believe that's the Knickerbocker Club. It's just some spectacular architecture around here. Time check, 11:27. About 8 blocks away-ish. 10 blocks. Coming up on Grand Army Plaza Hotel, Billionaires Row, Apple Fifth Avenue.
Bets instantly. That's code SoundCloud. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
And if you're in the mood for an incredibly expensive night at a hotel, other than the Plaza, you have the Pierre, Sherry, Netherlands. You have your choices. Where you would like to spend, I don't know, $800 or $900 a night. A little offshoot here of the Strand, famous New York City bookstore. Famous for its used books. I think we're going to take this chance, get on the side that St. Patrick's is on. And the light should be turning red, so will they stop? Yes. Lisa says he'll get to celebrate first Halloween. Lisa's little pumpkin. Absolutely. There's a nice little view, Plaza Hotel, and the towers of Billionaires Row behind it. Elaine says her son was born October 26th. Never forgot how special Halloween was from then on. Oh, I love that. Apple Fifth Avenue. We have not upgraded yet. We're still considering it. The phones are awfully expensive. Bergdorf Goodman, all your luxury shopping needs. Last time we were here, a gentleman in a Donald Trump costume was directing traffic. That was pretty fascinating. And the bull says 11:30, right on time. Yeah, we're awfully close. Oh, and a big bike ride up ahead of us. What is that called? Critical mass, I bet? Maybe that's a critical mass bike ride. Whoa, look how many. It goes on and on. Well, we're not going to be able to get the light till they pass. Very cool, though. Hopefully you guys got that. S. Fields is here. Good to see you. S. Fields, we are on a mission. We are walking, hustling our way to St. Patrick's. because we want to see little Amal. We are just minutes away. Empress says looks gang related. I don't think so. I think that was critical mass. So critical mass is like a bike riding group. But the point is kind of in the name, which is safety in numbers. Since you've started biking, maybe you can join them. Mall is inside St. Patrick's. Okay. Well, we'll see as we get closer what the deal is. Whoa, you went all the way. That's awesome. So Dykeman to South Street, I mean, that's a 14-mile ride. How was it? Maybe it's 13 miles, something like that. What did you think? Whoops. That was a van turning into the protected walking lane, or walk sign rather. Esfield says Amal really gets around, good for her. Nabul says she's getting out of the church right now. Okay, well we're a block away. Hopefully we can see her and I can take a deep breath. Yeah, watch says we've been going pretty fast. There she is. Whew. Prince Ice is here. Good to see you. Welcome. All right, I'm gonna. Oh wow. Oh my gosh.
But we will know the night before.
Thank you for coming. If you need a transcript, I have some more information about the event.
¿Dónde están?
Well, we got here, as they say, right on time, impeccable timing.
I forgot your name.
Excuse me.
I'm Roxanne from.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
No, she'll be at Central Park in the Diana Ross playground at 2 p.m.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Gosh. That's beautiful. Okay. Well, we may not have seen much of her, but we saw her. I'm glad we saw what we saw. Love the project, the message, and just seeing that. Wow, seeing like just an incredible achievement. Oh, I'm really glad we got to see that, even if it was for about 45 seconds. As I often tell you folks, it is the journey, not the destination. And we did it together. Okay, we're going to slow down now, considerably, because I am out of breath. So we are in, I feel like we were just here. We're in Midtown Manhattan, Rockefeller Center. Beautiful St. Patrick's Cathedral. Get taller. Yeah, if, Lisa, since you had the link up, will you share the link in the chat just so if people want to read more or donate or, you know, whatever they would like to do, if you would share that, that would be awesome. And since we're here and the doors are open, check that out. Beautiful. Atlas across the way. The weight of the world on his shoulders. What's that?
Do you get that at B&H?
I got it on Amazon, but you can get one there.
Is that DJI?
Yeah. It's really good.
How does it work? I mean, what is?
So there's motors here and here,
Yeah.
and it's just keeping it steady.
Well, it's like a steady cam.
Exactly. Yeah, and they're like $100. They're not too bad. Oh, watch out. Watch out. Yep.
That's amazing.
But they're
I just saw another guy using one.
they're like $100. They're really cool.
He had it on a pole, and he literally took a shot going straight up the.
It's amazing what you could do now.
Yeah,
But B&H is that's a great place to get them as well. Cool.
is there a certain model that is? Or,
This one's an older one, and it's just fine. You don't have to get the latest and greatest. But I have to run, but good to see you. People love the gimbals. All right, we got some links, we got some information. Yeah, no, I mean, the whole project is really incredible in the message. Suffice to say, there's a few folks who have forgotten these messages and might have it a little too cushy. All right, we will wait our time. Why don't we go check out Rockefeller Center and then we'll decide what we want to do today. As Field says, some days she feels like Atlas. Beautiful architecture here along Rockefeller Center. We were talking about fall earlier. Obviously, one of the big fall events, the Christmas lights and light show at Saks Fifth Avenue. We're excited to come visit that when it happens. Yeah, so if you watch my channel for the other videos, I usually use a GoPro. It gets significantly less attention. So you feel like it's more immersive. That's why I really only use this for the live streams, because it's both more to carry around and it just grabs a lot of attention just by virtue of how big it is. And mine's kind of, I've seen Gabe's walking commuters, and when you hook up mics and stuff, it starts to look kind of like there's a lot going on, so people just kind of stare at it to try to figure out what's happening. So we saw Atlas. This is Prometheus. And our skaters are here. I do think we read last time that last week was the end of the, man down. I think we read last week was the end of the Rockefeller Center fountains. We'll go confirm that. But last live stream we did jump in one last time. Yeah, looks like they're all closed off. And it looks like there's going to be some concerts soon. Rough Trade and Rockefeller Center present Indie Plaza. So if anybody wants to look up Indie Plaza, we'll check that out when that happens. Tech Talk, Prince Ice, any plans for the new iPhone 14? So the only one really worth getting, or let me take a step back. So there's two new iPhones. There's the 14 and the 14 Pros. If you like small phones, you're out of luck because the Mini's not a thing anymore, which is unfortunate. I really think the Mini they should have given it one more year, because you needed to experience it in the store, and people just weren't, for a couple of years necessarily going into the store and trying the phones out. But the Mini was awesome. It was like shockingly light. So then there's the new 14s and the new 14 Pros. The 14s, for the most part, they're really incremental upgrades. There's not really a lot of stuff new going on. I guess the biggest is the safety features that they added. So if you drive, there's a crash detection feature, which if it notices a crash, will alert the authorities for you if you're not able to. And then there's this satellite safety feature, which if you're somewhere where there's no cell service, but you have line of sight to the clouds, you can literally contact emergency services via satellite. So, I mean, those are cool. But those are like the big upgrades on them. The Pros have new cameras. The problem with the Pros is they're heavier, and I've been really liking not having a heavier phone. So we'll see. I'm still thinking about it. I'll probably go to the store and try it out and see. Scott is here. Sally's here. Love to see both. Here on 6th Avenue. We're just kind of wandering around at this point. Our main event was seeing Amal, which we sort of did. Maybe we'll walk over to Times Square for a minute. So the Pros have new cameras. The big thing is there's a higher resolution. So if you take photographs with it, supposedly you'll be able to take like really incredible detailed pictures that you could blow up if you wanted to print them, things like that. And it's got an action mode, so if you're running around, you might not need to use a gimbal. But that sort of stuff doesn't usually work in the live streaming apps, so it's not as helpful. So we'll see. There were new GoPros came out as well. So that we will upgrade, and we'll see if that makes a difference for the recorded walks. Up ahead, Juniors. We love Juniors. Famous for their cheesecake, but it's actually a really good restaurant. Kind of somewhere halfway between a deli and a diner. The original's in Brooklyn. And if you're there, I really recommend that one. I actually think it's better. That's where they make the cheesecakes. But you can't go wrong either way. Lots of plazas here. Public plazas, great place for office workers to sit and have lunch, but if you're here as a tourist, also a good spot for you to take a rest. You can eat your lunch outside if you'd like. Joanna's here. Says, what's thought on the new eSIM? So I had some concerns about it because I thought with travel it could be an issue, but I was reading somebody yesterday who actually made the point that a lot of the European networks, what you can do is you can actually preload the eSIM before your trip. And then what you do is when you get to that country, you just activate it. So as long as you have a second to do that in advance, it actually should work pretty well. And so I guess the way it works is you can like preload like up to 8 eSIMs, which is even more, if you had this old SIM cards, it was like 1 or 2 tops. Now you can do up to 8. But you just have to do that work in advance. So I think that'll be okay. I think it'll work out. And supposedly they're more secure. Who knows? Big Bus Tour Bus. Still on our to-do list. We were really meaning to do a live stream from a tour bus recently, but Lisa just hasn't been feeling so great. So it didn't work out, but it's on the list. And she cleaned the stained glass windows.
Take it, guys.
Coming up here to Times Square. So I noticed last time I was here, there's at least a second 3D advertising screen. I thought there was only one, but I saw at least one more, so doubles our chances of seeing a cool 3D advertisement. We'll walk up ahead a little bit. We'll go to the red steps and we'll try to get a view. There's a lot of people here today. As Fields asked, did they rehire the tour guides? I don't think so. Ooh, Donna's here. Donna, are your speakers working? Please confirm.
Yeah, I just felt
As Fields asked, did they rehire the tour guides? I don't think they did. I heard there was a big layoffs, which sucks. That's really unfortunate. I think it's really unfortunate because, people who come actually want to learn something. And what they end up often replacing them with are these pre-recorded things, but the recordings aren't, because it would cost 25 cents more, they're not usually synced to the location. Just plays on a loop. Just so junky. So anyways, boo them. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. This is the new three-dimensional advertisement thing, or if it's not new, I just noticed it the other day. This particular advertisement is not 3D, but we'll see if... last time I was here, they did a like Karl Lagerfeld, the fashion guy. Oh yeah, this looks kind of three-dimensional. Donna's watching from her phone, so she has audio. I'm so sorry about that. That's such a pain when this stuff starts to break. One of our computers just died. It's a real pain, an expensive pain. S-Field says the pre-recording, not the same as a real tour guide. Yeah, no, not the same thing at all. Lots of bikes. Famous red steps. Oh, there's the Karl Lagerfeld thing I was saying. See, it looks kind of three-dimensional. Locks and cameras here. Lisa's excited. Lisa's indeed resting up, excited for those baby hugs. Yeah, the little guy's getting very active in there. I mean, he's always been very active. We go in for all these monitoring appointments, and he started to do practice breathing, and we think he's starting to get hiccups. And supposedly he has a head of hair already, or at least some. I don't know. I'm looking at the same screen they're looking at, and I can't tell anything. So if you guys were watching CFOT the other night, this is the Olive Garden, and he ran into Action Kid and Here Be Bar. They were doing a video of tourist traps, including the Olive Garden. Funny thing about the Olive Garden, if you pay a few $100, you can actually go there for New Year's. So you'd have a view of the ball and, access to a restroom. I wonder if it's like hit by the inflation bug. I wonder if it's like $600 or $700 per person now. Westfield says, it sounds like you guys are having a toddler. I know it sounds more and more like that every day, right? Adam is here. Hello, Adam. Good to see you. Does he have a GoPro at the ready? He will definitely have GoPro access, I tell you that much. Good thing those things are waterproof. Baby bagel. The full head of hair. Well, we're very excited. As long as he's healthy, that's all that matters. And hopefully reasonably happy. How you been, Adam? How's the job search going, if you'd like to give an update? You have many, many, many people here rooting for you. I know that much. Should we go see some of the theaters, see what's going on? Off our usual beaten path, perhaps? Bond 45. It's a great restaurant, actually, if you're in this area. Junior's, Bond 45, and a little farther away, Becco would be my Times Square recommendations. There's also Dos Caminos, so if you just need something different, if you're absolutely stuck having dinner in this area, those would be my recommendations. Hamilton here. Oh, I guess the big theater news. Phantom of the Opera closing. Lisa, when she learned this, audibly gasped. And I'm stuck thinking that it's some sort of scam, because I don't understand it. I feel like it's the Choco Taco. They want the press of closing the show, and then they'll bring it back as a revival. Somehow the tickets will be twice as expensive. Adam has 3 different interviews tomorrow. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's good, obviously, that you're getting a lot of bites on the line, but a really serious job search is a full-time job. It's crazy. We wish you luck. We wish you endurance. And as they would say on Broadway, break a leg. Field says it's like Cher's farewell tour. Maybe I'm too pessimistic, but it just seems, it doesn't make any sense to me. And Lisa was reading some articles about it, and I was, asking, like, what's the explanation here? Because, an established show like that, they've paid for all the sets, they've paid for a lot of the marketing, it kind of markets itself in many ways. And the one thing that they mentioned in the article was that it had a big, one of the bigger orchestras, and it just made me so angry. Because of course they would blame, labor costs. It's like, well, all your other costs are super, super low compared to any other show. It gets me a little angry because Broadway has become so unaccessible for a lot of people. It's just too expensive. Like if you ever visit London, you can go to shows for $20. And not like here where you'd have to go to like the lottery or something to achieve that. Here, they're, a lot of them are $200. It's just insane. So if they can't sell tickets at $200 and figure out how to make money without blaming their orchestra, they got other problems. Come From Away, also closing. We have a family member involved in that. It's an incredible show. So if you're not in New York, or even if you are, and as we say, the rent is too damn high, so are the Broadway prices. Hamilton is streaming on Disney, and Come From Away is streaming on Apple. And if you read anything about Come From Away and thought, I really don't want to watch a musical about 9/11, I would encourage you to watch it. It's so much better than you think, and it's not what you think it is. It's really, really, really good. Adam says the producers started that ticket price. Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually what I think is going on. So part of what they did was they established that the only way to fill seats was to have, not just like celebrities, but like superstars in your cast who cost a lot of money. And so the amount you have to bring in to make that make sense is just absurd. So, I mean, I think you're right. that is why this is happening. It's just messed up. And of course, again, upsets me that instead of admitting that or acknowledging that and figuring out a solution to that, that they would point to the size of the orchestra. Not on my watch. All right, folks, it's starting to get awfully hot. I told you when we started it was about 75 degrees, going up to 85 today. It's really starting to warm up. So we're going to start walking north. We're going to head towards Central Park where we can cool off. Really not any clouds, so as the sun comes out, it is getting me. Says it was losing $1 million a month. If I learned anything from the producers, it's that Broadway economics are entirely made up. They wouldn't lie to me, would they? Walks and Camera says the Mousetrap has been running since 1952 in London. I'll tell you something, every time we go to London, we see that show. We love it. It's just kind of like a tradition. Although, one time we went to London, we saw, it was one of the shakes, we went to a show at the, the redone, obviously, Globe Theater. And I'm just blanking on the name. And then we saw A Christmas Carol, which was really for like kids and families, the production. But it was really good. It was really fun. That was near, I think that one, I'm forgetting what the name of the theater was, but it was near the Tate Modern, I think. Nabul says, where's the shade? There's no shade. So it's so stupid. I've been doing all these weekday walks, and I feel like the videos are coming out all dark because I'm just stuck with all the shade, and then there's a day like today, there's no shade. It's a tiny bit of shade. I think it's also, though, because I've been doing those walks later in the day, and I need to do them earlier again. Such is life. It's so hot today, though. I think when you have the we have this back and forth where some days it's as low as the 60s, and then it just like boomerangs. It's 85 again. All of a sudden, the 85 feels warmer than it did before. Yeah, I loved seeing the Christmas Carol. That was a lot of fun. Kids went crazy during that. Okay, it does look like the other side of the street might have a little more shade, so that's our plan. Speaking of things that closed, looks like Sparrow didn't make it. Wow, it looks like this junior's location is doing real business. Looks like there's a wait. Yeah, not a lot of empty tables. Good for them. If you haven't noticed from either my videos or other people's videos, the city is considerably busier. I have a video, one of our Park Avenue videos coming up this week some point. And I finished at Grand Central. And when I got there, the head of the MTA, I forget what their titles are, but the CEO and the president, I think, of the MTA were there because that day the subway had just broken records for the past 2 years of ridership. So highest ridership since, March 2020.
If you look them up.
So it both feels busier and the numbers are bearing that out.
Where are you coming from? Oh, okay.
Coming up on the Stardust Diner, this is where the waiters and waitresses sing.
Live from New York, it's Sunday morning.
If anybody's in Puerto Rico, I heard there was serious weather there, maybe like a hurricane or something. Anyways, I'm thinking of you guys. Hoping it passes safely. Adam has yet to see the glazed fountain inside the Krispy Kreme. I will tell you, I don't remember ever liking those donuts, but every time I walk by there, it sure does smell good. I mean, you put a few industrial-sized fryers and a bunch of sugar, it's probably gonna smell all right. Blocks and Camera saw Patrick Stewart doing a solo performance of Christmas Carol. Oh man, he's one of my favorite actors. That would have been, I'm sure that was amazing. S. Fields confirms that's Hurricane Fiona. It's kind of a funny name for a hurricane. I don't know that I liked the giving hurricanes human names. Coming up on the Ed Sullivan Theater, current home of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And this probably happened about maybe over a month ago, but I heard, blanking on his name, but the band leader was leaving to go do his own stuff. I really liked him. Sally's a fan of Krispy Kreme. We were talking about donuts a long time ago. I have very fond memories. There's a place, is it Greenpoint, maybe? Peter Pan Donuts. Really, really old school donut shop in Brooklyn. Really liked that one. They're very expensive, but New York has all these fancy ones now, like Donut Plant. They're really good, but they're just too expensive. More fun when you can get your employer to pay for them. John Batiste, yes. Adam says it would be more fitting Hurricane Wigglesworth or Hurricane Fluffy. Certainly more memorable. S. Field says, I need to work on my noise, moron, and traffic tolerance levels. I lost the muscle with the pandemic. Really got me with the moron one. Yeah. I mean, as a walker, the big thing is the drivers have lost their minds. There's no way for me to say that politely. The amount of dangerous driving is really, really, really bad right now. Ooh, when you do find some shade, let me tell you, it's much nicer. It's a little breeze right now.
Look, dude, don't you worry about it.
I'm so mad right now.
Oh, Adam says donut plant on West 23rd temporary closed. Oh, that's unfortunate. Something to do with the Chelsea Hotel. Well, I know the Chelsea Hotel, there was... Aren't they like renovating or redeveloping or something? Was it closing down? I remember the New York Times had these profiles of people who lived in the Chelsea Hotel who had these incredible rent controlled deals. I mean, literally paying like hundreds of dollars. Of course, they might not have had a bathroom in their unit. But if your rent is a few $100, you can probably make do. As Phil says, totally agree, plus the number of smaller vehicles is multiplied. Yeah, so this is something I read because, again, try not to have my grumpy chat. But everybody's upset about the congestion charge. A lot of people are blaming outdoor dining, which has been a lifeline for a lot of the restaurants in New York City, and for many people who will only eat outdoors, it's a big deal. And it's taken up, as a percentage of parking spaces, just a minuscule amount of space. It turns out that during the pandemic, the amount of private cars in New York City went up by 50,000. 50,000! That might have something to do with why it feels much busier. And we talked about this on a prior stream. The number of spaces, number of restaurants that took spaces is like less than 10,000. And a lot of them aren't taking up much space on the street, maybe one parking space. Oh, but don't let logic get in the way of a good argument. All right, we are at 58th Street. The memorably named Deutsche Bank Center will be coming up on our left as we enter Columbus Circle. On our right is a location of the famous Magnolia Bakery. I don't know that I've actually mentioned this on the stream before, but one of my favorite bakeries in New York City is Sullivan Street Bakery. There's a couple of them. One's in the West 20s, and one is, I think, in the West 40s, but like pretty far west, like, I don't know, 10th Avenue or something. But they're Their baked goods are so good. So if you're ever near one of those, I would add those to your list. Sullivan Street Bakery. Back when Lisa was able to join me on more of the walks, the one in the 40s, we would go pick that up and you could do a picnic near the Intrepid. Really, really, really good. So this is Columbus Circle. And that is the stupidly named Deutsche Bank Center. I just hate the name. It's so clunky. This is 59th Street as we hop across, enter Central Park. So I did mention earlier, we are on a new phone plan, so we're hoping for the best in terms of signal quality and stuff. Sometimes tough in Central Park, and especially so when it's a busy day. But we like to live on the edge. I mentioned, to Lisa at least, so there's something called the Jaguar Parade. Jaguar? Probably Jaguar. It's probably not named after the car. So you may have started to notice either on my Instagram or other streamers or whatever, there's all these statues of jaguars around New York City. And before I really realized what was going on, I noticed a whole pack of them at Tavern on the Green. So maybe we'll go over to Tavern on the Green, check those out. Pizza Man, T-Mobile. Was on Sprint, but on like a really old legacy plan. Now I'm on T-Mobile on a modern plan. I know a lot of folks use Verizon or AT&T, but we've had mixed success. We're trying different stuff out to see what works the best for us. And we are not at the point of using two phones as some people do to split connections. In particular, we've noticed it hasn't even been working out that well for them, so not really worth it. Beautiful Central Park. Here on the southwest tip of the park, 843 acres. Lisa had a fun fact about Central Park if she wants to share that into the chat. And I'll read it out. Walks and Camera saw Moose Parade in Vermont a few years back. Moose Parade, I love it.
And is she an actual career?
Pizza Man asked, did we get the Magenta Max? Yes. So, the big difference between all the phone plans these days, for the most part, they all have 5G. We don't actually use 5G because we've noticed in most locations I've been, it's slower than 4G, so we stick to 4G. Most of the plans are unlimited now. So what you're competing on, what you're spending more money on, is called priority. So when the network is busy, who gets to be served? So hopefully we're higher on the priority list. So in busy, congested times, hopefully we'll get better service, but we'll see. Lots of carriages in the park today. Oops. That dog was running around. Okay, Lisa has our update. 25 years ago, Garth Brooks held a concert in Central Park. 1 million people showed up. He still holds the record. And Billy Joel joined him for an epic duet of New York State of Mind. So I bet some of that's on YouTube. I'll have to look that up later. 1 million people. Can you imagine? I see a handful more people out, and because of the last 2 years, I feel overwhelmed. Can hardly imagine being in the park with 1 million people. That's crazy. It's a really beautiful day here in the park. Lots of picnics, lots of exercise. The dogs are being walked. And we're gonna go see a jaguar parade. If anybody wants to put the link to that in the chat, Jaguar Parade has a website, and they have a map of where all the jaguars are. Without really looking, just kind of stumbling upon them, I think I've actually seen a fair number of them. Coming up here to the Tavern on the Green. So we'll go see if the jaguars are where I remember them. Frank is watching from Germany with Sarah Marie, his daughter. Big fan of the channel. Well, thank you for that. I'm glad to have you both here, joining our little wanderings around New York City. Thanks for being here. We are here in Central Park. Have about half of our battery left, so we'll be here for a little bit. And we're gonna go check out the jaguars, which should be right around the corner if they haven't moved. Let's find out. Ah, success. Whoa. Except Tavern on the Green is putting some interesting stuff up. Okay, Jaguar Parade. An open-air art exhibition with a purpose to raise funds and awareness about the urgent need to conserve jaguars and their habitats. Each sculpture is a unique work of art customized by talented artists and is displayed in the main streets and parks of the cities. By the end of the exhibition, statues are auctioned and 100% of net revenue is donated to jaguar conservation efforts. Oh, that's really cool. Let me try to get some good shots of this. LV's here. Yeah, so I think there's a bunch in the zoo, but what I've noticed is sometimes when things are in the zoo, they're like really in the zoo, not in the free part that I can walk around. These are beautiful. Check this one out. I mean, look at the detail on them.
This is Inner Fire of the Deep Jungle.
Gorgeous. So I have my Times Square 42nd Street video. We saw at least one. That one's published, so if you want to watch that video, that's one of the recorded walks. We just saw 5 right there. the Park Avenue video I have coming up. I think I read that there's at least 5 in Grand Central, and I remember seeing 2 of them. So that video will come out this week, and I think we'll see at least 2 of the Jaguars, 2 of the Grand Central ones. I mean, there might be like 20 or 30 around the city. They're really beautiful. I mean, the amount of detail that they put on them. I didn't realize they were going to be auctioned. That's pretty cool. You have to have a special kind of life situation to be able to both afford one of those but have the space for one of those. So I think not for us, but that's pretty cool. Let's walk into Sheep Meadow so we can get some views of Central Park South, and then we'll go check out the mall. We'll see what's happening on the mall. Busy here today. But in fact, it's kind of early, so I bet by the afternoon it'll be really packed. Pizza Man just watched the Garth Brooks and Billy Joel in Central Park. Can't imagine all the people in Central Park. They were packed in like sardines in a can. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine 1 million people. And even if they're, off by a little bit. I went to a concert with the Philharmonic. And it was during the pandemic, so obviously, people were kind of spaced out a little bit. But I thought that was busy, and it was probably, it was probably a tiny percentage of the Garth Brooks concert. Lisa says, I'm saying we can't get that one for the nursery. We'll take a look when the auction happens. But to be fair, it would take up the entire nursery. Is Jaguar more expensive than a park bench? So for those in the know, if you know, you know. To get a plaque on a Central Park bench, $10,000 US. So I'll have to look up, or if any of you, if it's handy on Google, if you type in the Jaguar Parade auction prices and see if there's like estimates or starting bid, let's see how that compares. Oxen Camera says that's a skinny skyscraper. Yeah, I mean, those are the Billionaires Row skyscrapers. It turns out that living in them is probably not all it's cracked up to be. It turns out that it's but you can charge, $40 million for a nice penthouse. Great way to launder money if you have the money. S. Fields is putting together her holiday gift list. What's the store that does those insane holiday gift catalogs and everything? Is it Neiman Marcus, I think? And they would have, personal submarine, $60,000. How the other half of 1% lives. All right, we've crossed Sheep Meadow. We're gonna walk south a little bit. Lots of volleyball going on. And we'll walk over to the southern end of the mall, walk our way up. Thankfully, there's a lot of shade in the park. I've read that compared to the rest of the city, the park can be about 10 degrees cooler, which is what we were looking for. Yes, Field says, I think Goop put together a pretty interesting list as well. Goop. I heard a story about Goop that, I'm going to blank on who it was, but a more established company offered once to buy them from Gwyneth Paltrow. And their legal team said, this is the purchasing company, or the company that offered to purchase, said, you know, we just have to confirm that all the things you're selling, you know, actually do what they say they do. And at that moment, the deal disappeared. Ambrose says $73K for a 2023 Jaguar F-Type. Bernard is here. Good morning. I guess good afternoon at this point. Yeah, the Sears catalog, no more. Back in the day, you could buy a house from the Sears catalog. There's a podcast called 99% Invisible, which is about design, which is actually really interesting. They did an episode on Sears catalog houses. There were kits. You bought the plans and all the pieces, kind of like an IKEA delivery, came on a rail car. Except unlike IKEA, you know, instead of 100 pieces, you probably got, you know, 8,000 pieces. And you'd put your little house together. Except they had houses of all sizes and types. And it turns out there's these people who are absolutely infatuated with this style and go around the country documenting them, taking photographs, you know, in some sense, preserve the memory of them, I guess. Can you imagine buying a house kind of like from IKEA? You know, we have to put like a dresser together and it's like a 30-page manual. You must get a manual the size of like a phone book. I just can't imagine. And then at the end, you know, when you have 4 screws left over and you wonder where you went wrong. Yeah, Bernard, we're in Central Park on the Mall and Literary Walk.
If you need my mic, let me know.
We're just walking up.
I mean, I got other mics.
I don't have as big an audience as you do.
We're just walking north on the Mall, heading to Bethesda Fountain. This really is like as busy as we've seen the park in a while. Lots of people. Westfield says the American dream via catalog. Exactly right. That's exactly right. I think the white whale for those Sears used to be even a Sears catalog schoolhouse, like a little schoolhouse. And I guess very, very, very few of those have survived. So those people are really looking for. So I forget what day we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it Friday as a premiere, but I have a really long Central Park walk recorded. So we'll just be here for a little bit just because it's so hot today. But I have a full walk recorded, and we'll watch that together sometime this week, maybe on Friday. Adam says to me, it's always the official start of the holiday season when you get the Swiss Colony catalog in the mail. Yeah, the leaves are still very green. I don't think they're going to change just yet. Especially when it's still these 85-degree days. Oh, the saxophone you hear on our left, Frank Williams. Somebody, if you want to read something really random, on Twitter, somebody found the story, probably from Wikipedia. So if you go on Wikipedia and search for saxophone, and then look up the inventor of the saxophone, he had like the most troubled life. And I don't just mean troubled like he had a hard life, like he was like cursed. I don't remember all the details, but if you want to read something very random and very weird, look up the guy who invented the saxophone. Bizarre story. Bernard says, a little bit of rain in Fort Lauderdale. We love Fort Lauderdale, beautiful Florida. Been a while since we've been to Florida, but we'll have to visit again one day.
Hey, sir, you're now safe. That's going to put you in the front. Put him in the front, man. Yes, he paid for his safety. He paid for his safety. Next up, step up, sir. Where you from? Do you know that guy over there? Okay. Travel like it's hot, Germany.
Photos is here. Good to see you. We're here in beautiful Central Park trying to cool off. Got a little hot out there in the city. Walking up to Bethesda Terrace now. I think we're going to start on the second level. We don't usually do this. We usually go down to where the action is, but why don't we get an overview today as we decide what we want to do next. Last time I was here, I think it'll be in the recorded video. There was a wedding ceremony down there. I think I got a little bit of it in the distance. Instructionists here. LV is in New Hampshire, says leaves are starting degrees. Wow. I mean, maybe there were a couple of nights that were cold enough to trigger it, perhaps. Oh, look at this. Let me zoom in. Instructionist is here. Good to see you. Look at that dress. Goes on and on. Yeah, S. Fields, did you read any of the, like his early childhood? It just sounded like he had a curse on him or something. Really bizarre. I shouldn't laugh, but it was just so weird. Esfield says, I assume one needs to get a permit to have a wedding there. So I would say you probably do. I would say they probably didn't. It looked, you know, they kind of informal. There weren't many people. They just kind of gathered in one of the corners. And they didn't have a lot of equipment or anything. So my guess is they did it right here in this little area, which is, you know, typically not busy. So my guess is they didn't have a permit and just kind of went at it. And we wish them a lifetime of happiness and love. Yeah, I mean, there's been so many Pizza Man, so many great movies filmed here. We were just watching Ghostbusters, and we were at Tavern on the Green a little while ago. Another famous filming location. Instructionist recognized from walks in Wall Street. Well, thank you for finding your way over here. Yeah, we do. I do mostly recorded walks. Like during the week, I bring out the GoPro and just walk around the city. Take you guys on those walks, and then usually on the weekend, 1 or 2 days, we'll do a live walk around the city. We started it where my wife, Lisa, who's in the chat, would join, but she's very, very pregnant right now, so not able to join the lives as much. Though I'm sure she will when she's able. So we do a little bit of a mix. Lots of the geese. Try to get you guys a view of the geese. Geese swimming around. I prefer seeing them swimming because when they're hanging out over here, sometimes the people get a little too close for comfort. Asfield says, wow, that poor man. His mother once said that he's, quote, a child condemned to misfortune. He won't live. It's really weird. I have to read the whole thing because I just read some of that. Some of the brief overview, but I need to see one day how that transformed into him creating the stacks. But it was like a life made for the blues. I like the music over there, but I'm sure that's going to trigger all sorts of copyright warnings. Sorry about that. Photo says, and some turtles too. Elaine says, a very nice place to get married. Yeah, one day we saw them preparing an event over here. Lisa and I were walking around. And at first we thought, oh man, maybe some really, really wealthy couple was getting married at the terrace. And I was like, can you imagine what it would possibly cost to do that? It turned out it was some sort of charity event. Sometimes in New York, it's hard to tell the difference between those two things. I have noticed lately a lot of the people who use the rowboats row backwards, which does not seem very, whatever the water equivalent of aerodynamic is. I'll have to read that Wikipedia later, S. Fields. It sounds like a very fascinating life. So one reason we would upgrade our phone one day is to get the better zoom lens. You can see the geese and a bunch of turtles sharing that rock together. It's kind of cute. This part of the park is called Cherry Hill, which during cherry blossom season is, by square foot, one of the most beautiful places on earth, just covered in cherry blossoms. Romantic Bow Bridge up ahead.
100%. I found 157.
LV says you're supposed to sit backwards and the bow is at the front. I think some people get that and some people don't, I've noticed. Mr. Sachs lived to be 80. Okay, that's good news. So he survived his terrible childhood. God. This person has it figured out, just falling asleep and letting everybody else do the rowing. Is the Central Park Lake deep? I actually don't know the answer to that. My guess is probably not very, but I don't know. Ooh, there's turtles everywhere. I love how turtles love the sun. They just love to sit in the sun. It's so beautiful. See, this is what I mean. Right? That's not right. I don't think that's how you do that. Oh well.
You don't walk there?
Esfield says, wow, that's some terrible rowing. It just looks like it would be more difficult, right? Like you'd have to put in more energy. Oh well. Fun for a laugh. Oh, we have the San Remo, we have the El Dorado.
Oh, yeah. I love that song.
It's actually stupid not to.
You could row wrong if you want to. Yeah, you know, I'm not going to tell them they can't do it. It just doesn't look right. It's so funny how the animals behave differently today. So usually when we're here, the geese are walking around, but today they're all swimming. They look beautiful. That's a great view with the Bow Bridge. Amazing. So many people picnicking on Cherry Hill. And of course, this is your screenshot. What a view. Okay, so there's one of those fancy picnic setups that we've been talking about. This is a very small one, just for a few people, it looks like. alfresconyc.com. Can anybody go to alfresconyc.com and see if we can find out what one of these fancy picnic setups costs? I'm so curious. Like sometimes we'll see them, they're clearly for like an engagement party or, you know, like maybe a big birthday milestone. And I mean, it just looks like they must cost thousands of dollars. I'm very curious.
all about my mom and your care plan.
Photo says 2 people equals 225. Fascinating. So about $100 a person, but my guess is the price goes up depending on the complexity. Because I think for the big ones, they appear to have like multiple people work, you know, quote unquote, working the event, like setting it up and arranging everything. I think we'll stick to a box of pizza and a 2-liter. But I'm very happy for people who can do that. Oh, check out this beautiful sight. Just another hill over here, dog running around. These hills are really fun during winter when they're covered in snow and all the dogs come out. Oh, and the big yoga retreat. Whoa, park picnic, 2 people, 2 hours, $400. So it goes up to $200 a person. Only in New York City, maybe in Dubai. Elfie says you can't go wrong with pizza. Photo says bottle of wine, cheese, crackers, and blanket equals fun. Well, when people ask our bagel recommendations, one of the places I always try to recommend is Russ and Daughters. The bagels are perfectly good, but part of why I recommend it is because you'd go and you'd get a whole spread of things, just like you're describing. Oh, there's a beautiful breeze right now. This is good. Look how many people are out on the loop today. Should we go check out the music at Strawberry Fields? Why not? We've already lost our copyright for the day.
But I thought it was really lovely.
Nope, still have the light? Okay, going anyways? Okay.
Now we can go this way, so we don't have to make
Have to wait our turn now.
yeah, go this way. And they come back.
Let me try to rush across. Do. Can somebody do me a favor? I think the battery is going to die before then, so I don't think we'll do it on the live. But can somebody tell me, I think we said earlier that Amal will be in Central Park at 2 p.m. at the Diana Ross playground. Will you tell me, I think that's on the west side, I think it's near Central Park West, but will you tell me what cross street that's at? And maybe I'll sit after we finish and I'll try to get some a little short video of Amal at the playground. But unfortunately, I don't think the live will still be running then. Unfortunately, it looks like we just missed the music. But we got a good view of the Imagine mosaic. Always beautiful. And since we're in the neighborhood, why don't we go see the Dakota? Lisa says, and Esfield says,
I'm always hearing.
West 81st. Okay. All right. So we'll hang out for a bit, and then I'll have to charge the phone, and I'll do a little recording of Amal. Okay. Let's go see if we can see the Dakota without getting creamed by a bike. Oops. And we're about to get the lovely sounds of the FDNY, New York City's fire department, so just prepare your headphones accordingly. Not too bad. We love our FDNY. Why don't we, we'll walk up Central Park West a little bit. It's kind of shady with the trees. Top view bus here. I do see a lot of people on there have those little red headphones on, so that must be the audio guide. The Dakota is such a spectacular building. I'll show you another angle of it up ahead. Just love the architecture. Beautiful building. They don't make them like they used to. This is the Langham, another classic, beautiful apartment building. There is a Langham Hotel, which is why my brain caught for a second. I guess whatever the fire is must be nearby. Pizza says, would love to see the inside of the Dakota. Yeah, no, me too. It does, I think, have a sort of interior courtyard, kind of like the Belnord, which is the building from Only Murders in the Building. Yeah, there must be a somewhat serious fire because now they have the, this is like the fire chief's car. So, at least a few hands headed somewhere. We hope everything is okay. Here's the San Remo. So this is not the best angle to see the San Remo, unfortunately, but it's where we are. San Remo is usually more fun from a distance, so you can see the twin, I don't know, what would you call those, penthouse towers or something? Amber says, me too, as a resident. I looked up prices. For some of these buildings recently. If you go to there's a website called Street Easy, one word. And you can, if you go on Google, just type in Street Easy Dakota, and it'll come right up. And I mean, what's funny is, you know, obviously these are units in the millions of dollars, you know, in some cases, tens of millions of dollars, depending on how big. But on top of that, in New York, you pay what's called a maintenance fee. And for, you know, normal people, a maintenance fee means, you know, the shared building stuff. So, you know, your laundry room, maybe your electric utilities in some instances, and if you're lucky, you know, a doorman, things like that. But in Dakota and some of these like hyper luxury buildings, the maintenance fees can be, you know, 5 figures a month. I remember looking at one, it was like $60,000 a month, just the maintenance fee. Can only imagine the lifestyle you have where you're paying an annual salary for most people just as a monthly fee for your apartment. Empress says, as rich as Yoko Ono is, imagine how rich her landlord must be. I mean, it's just, what can you say? How the other half lives. If you spend enough time on Street Easy, you will become radicalized. I forewarn you. Last time, I think last live stream we were over here. It's the New York Historical Society. And we're coming up next to the American Museum of Natural History. And I think this is, we're getting close to the area where Amal will be. So I was kind of wondering if, oh, and there's taking some marriage photos across the way. But yeah, I was wondering if maybe the group with Amal, I was wondering if they would set up around here. So I guess we'll find out. The other building, if you really want to be, if you just want to get angry at the world, I think is it 15 Central Park West? I think that's the one where like Derek Jeter lives and stuff. It's just shocking. Adam says, just getting interviews with the condo board is a feat unto itself, apparently. Yeah, I'd believe it. I think the story is like, you know, like Justin Bieber couldn't get an interview because they didn't want him there. So even money is not enough. Pizza Man says, would love to live in New York City, but the prices would break me. Yeah, I mean, it's a... Somebody once joked, whatever you make is what you pay in rent, which is not far from the truth. Adam says, I look at it this way, if they're going to let Maury Povich live there. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. That's so funny. It's really hard to emphasize how big the American Museum of Natural History is. It just goes on and on. Up ahead, I'll give another view. And we're coming up to 81st. I think does it go from 77 to 81st? So it might be like 4 blocks. Oh my God. Oh. Do not, oh God. Getting your taxi and walking very, very, very slowly in the bike lane is not good. Would really, really, really prefer not to see somebody get taken out. So we're coming up to 81st. This is where Amal will be. It is 1:11, so we're probably way too early to see anything. So we'll go into the park again. We'll hang out for a little bit. And then I will have to end the stream at some point because we're just coming to the end of the battery. We'll hang for a little bit, and then I'll sit in the park and I'll try to get us some video of Amal walking. Hopefully more this time than 45 seconds. Although I'm really glad we saw that because it was cool to see her at St. Patrick's. Back in Central Park. Oh, here it is, Diana Ross Playground. I've walked by this park a million times, and I guess I've never fully processed that it's named Diana Ross. That's cool. It's amazing how immediately different it feels just by entering the park. So beautiful, so green. Lots of birthday parties over here as well. Must be the Upper West Side families from nearby. Hawks and Cameras asking about the types of cars they can use for cabs now. This is Winterdale Arch. We've walked above it many, many, many times. I don't know the last time we walked underneath it. Beautiful arches here in Central Park. Yeah, so they could use many different types of vehicles. There was a push a long time ago to make them more energy efficient and accessible. So you do see more of the vans. But you continue to see lots of different types of cars. People have started to notice there's at least a couple of Teslas that go around. The thing about Teslas is opening the doors. The operation to open the door is a little different than most people are used to. There's like a button. And so they always have to the drivers, I'm sure, get a little frustrated by that because nobody knows how to do it. coming up to Delacorte Theater. So many things in the park are named after George Delacorte, Delacorte clock, and many gifts from Delacorte's, including the statue of Alice in Wonderland and Hans Christian Andersen, I believe. Yeah, they wanted them to be the big boxy ones, but more storage, and I think there were some modifications made so that they'd be easier for folks in like wheelchairs and stuff. But those sliding doors are really obnoxious and heavy, and the seating situation's a little clunky. It is funny how hard it is to come up with one design that really works.
You can go back if you want too.
So we're coming to the end. I think we'll go over and see the turtles, and then we'll call it a day. Adam mentions, so there are a couple of yellow cabs that are Teslas, but Revel, their entire fleet is Teslas, yeah. I've never been in one, because they had a big fight with the city. So Revel, if you've ever, it's a newer, shared transit company. Probably most famous because of the scooters, you probably see those around. But they also have a Tesla fleet. But I guess they had a big fight with the city about how many cars that they could operate. And so they primarily, I think, operate downtown. And since Lisa and I live uptown, we've actually never had a reason to be in one. On our left, the Great Lawn. Dusty Cole says, accessible vehicles, especially for power wheelchairs, are in short supply though. Yeah, I mean, don't get me started. New York City and accessibility is a complete catastrophe. Total catastrophe. I feel really, really, really bad for folks who have accessibility issues in New York City. I was once at an event at Columbia University, and a family friend was with us. In Columbia, basically any of the really old institutions, they basically claim exemptions from the ADA just because of how, kind of grandfathered stuff in. And a gentleman to get to various events had to be physically carried. It just was upsetting. That's not the answer. Especially when you're an institution with a multi-billion-dollar endowment. I think you could figure out how to make your campus a little more accessible. In the distance, Belvedere Castle, looking very beautiful. Dusty says, what a beautiful day. Same down here in Northern Virginia, 84 today. Andrew says, Great Lawn used to be reservoir, then filled in. Yeah, I was reading a lot about the reservoir recently. The history behind it is really, really interesting. And I know at the north end of the Great Lawn, there's some remnants of the old structures. I think some of the concrete blocks and stuff are still there. I'll try to get a video of that one day. Well, we're coming to the end here. We're going to finish by Turtle Pond. And then, like I said, I'm going to hang out in the park. And at 2 p.m., I'm going to go try to see Amal walk and get a little more video of that, which I'll post later on.
volcano. What? I don't see it. Oh, yes, I know what these underwater.
That's right, Ambrose.
When they erupt.
Try to zoom in for you guys. There's not as many, I guess, because folks are sitting very close. Sometimes they're sitting on the rocks. Yeah, well, Adam, put another way. If it's as bad as it is here, where we're as likely as any to want to do something about accessibility, imagine what it's like in places where they probably emphasize it even less. We do have a little more battery, so we'll finish by the Cleopatra's Needle. Let's go check that out. Yeah, one time when we were doing a live stream in Central Park, there was a big accessibility event. And it was fun to, there was an artist who paints, and he was, had vision issues. But it was interesting learning about all these things. And I think as everybody here knows, we encourage everybody to advocate for everybody around us as much as we can.
I'll show you that. This is owned by the Met. This is called the Obelisk. Otherwise known as Cleopatra's Needle.
Check this out. Oh, it's so beautiful. Every time you walk up to it, it's so majestic. Adam said I was going to say that, but I didn't know how to soften the blow. Must be in the 80s now. I don't have it immediately at hand, but yeah, it's definitely pretty warm. But I have a big bottle of water. Well, what made me angry the day we were in the park and we were at the accessibility event was I had just been on the subway, and it was Grand Central, so it wasn't like a random subway stop. It was like one of the most, one of the biggest and most important subway stops in the city. And they were saying if you needed the elevator, you actually couldn't get out there. You had to take it one or two more stops, which can be a mile of walking. And they said, it was going to be that way. It was going to be out of service for months. And I just lost my mind. I mean, it made me so angry. Like whoever, in whatever series of meetings, said that was an acceptable delay. Nope. So there it is, Cleopatra's Needle, also known as the Obelisk. And if you want another fun Wikipedia read, just Google Central Park Obelisk and read about how it got here. It's really hard to believe, the feat of physical engineering that it took to get this thing here. And still it stands. But to all my friends, thank you for being with us. We loved having you today. Got lots of interesting walks, I hope, coming up this week. Off the top of my head, Park Avenue, a little bit of Midtown Manhattan, just kind of wandering around Midtown, the High Line, and Central Park, a recorded walk in Central Park. We'll probably do that one, maybe we'll do that one on Friday as a premiere so we can chat. And I have a video of the Staten Island Ferry that I took on September 11 when I was heading out to the September 11 Memorial in Staten Island. And that one's kind of interesting because it was just this kind of ghostly, foggy day. So a very different experience of taking the ferry than some of the clear days we've had. So I think that one will be interesting in any event. And then afterwards, I don't know, we're gonna try out the new GoPro and see how that goes. So lots of camera tests to come. But again, big thanks to everybody. Loved chatting with you, loved exploring today. And I'll try to post a little video of Amal, hopefully later today, if not by tomorrow. And we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks everybody for being here. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.